Do.
What's up, everybody on the internet? Welcome back to Hop on Calls, presented to you by our title sponsor, Kixie. I'm your host, Kevin Hopp, as always. This week, coming to us from, where in the world are you sitting, Patrick? Where
I am currently sitting in Georgia.
Sitting in GA, Patrick Flynn. Give him a round of applause real quick.
Woo! Thank you for having me on the show, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, Pat. If people don't know you, give us the 1 minute Pat story and what are you doing today?
Cool, man. Of course. So my name is Patrick Flynn. I am a military veteran. I served 7.5 years in the Army as a military police officer. Did some cool stuff in that line of work. I'm currently a senior sales development representative at the glorious Silver Sky. That is my quick little pitch about me.
I love it. I love it. So you're in the SDR world, but you come from the military world. I've been having a few veterans on this show, and they've been doing pretty good. Let's hope you can beat Kyle Shannon's showing, where he got, I think, 2 connects in the entire live. Shout out Kyle Shannon for being a sandbagger. What's that all about?
Don't know, man. I talked to him about it, so we'll see if I can do a little bit better than him. So
I bet you can. I bet you can. So I'm going to be making calls today through Kixie. Shout out to our sponsor, Kixie, your all-in-one business telephony solution. They can handle your inbound calls. They can handle your outbound calls. It can be the desk phone that you have that anyone can call you at any time. But today I'm going to be using their power dialer feature to make a ton of calls. You got a dialer on your side, Pat. I got a dialer on my side. Why don't we dive right into it? Press go. See how many live conversations we can have as we go about this. And I think we're both going to be calling for actually the same thing, which is Silver Sky.
Yeah, I think so. You want me to start ripping?
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
All righty.
Let's do it. We can go on my side as well. Hey, if you could hear us in the comments, shout out where you're sitting. Where are you in the world? Love to hear. It's been interesting. The past few weeks, we've had folks coming on from all over the world. All right. So, Pat, talk to me a little bit about when it comes to cold calling. What was your familiarity with cold calling before you started working at Silver Sky?
Yeah, so I worked at a different company, different space. We did cold calls, but we did it off HubSpot, so one off, one on dialing. Didn't have a power dialer, didn't have parallel dialers, none of that fancy technology stacks. A lot of it was warm calls. I would send a lot of emails out prior to, hey, this is Patrick with Silver Sky. How you doing? It's Silver Sky. Brian, I know I'm calling out the blue. Am I catching on a bad time? Okay, I can definitely do that, Brian. All righty. He said, this is a private number on a do not call list. Do not call this number again. It happens.
You hate that, right? I hate that. And sometimes when people mention the do not call list, I mention that I'm not a telemarketer. That's like one of my go-to lines. You know what I mean? But that guy sounded a bit like an angry badger. What do we call that guy in the world? What do we call that guy? What would you just position that one as?
Oh, just not a phone lead. You know,
Not
just
a phone lead.
Yeah. But he sounds like he's having a great Tuesday, so
You never know, man. You never know. One of the things that I think is really important for people to think about when it comes to outbound sales, there are 3 main ways that we can get in touch with people in the year 2023, right? And if you think there are more viable channels, let me know in the comments. But there are 3 main ways we can get in touch with somebody. And if you think of your total addressable market, you're just trying to funnel and figure out who's going to be more call focused. They're going to pick up their phone. Who's going to be very diligent in answering emails, and who's on social media all day. And that's actually a great place to find them. But a common misconception about, when people think of me, they think, oh, you're just the call guy. You only like calls and calls and calls and calls. Look, I like calls first, but not everybody can be interacted with on a cold call, just like that guy. So very important to keep in mind that there are multiple channels to meet your customers in.
So since he's not a phone lead, what would you recommend, someone like myself doing a follow-up, if that's even worth a follow-up, contender?
Yeah. I mean, I think the number one mistake that reps make at this point is they mark him as not interested, right? Just because someone tells you don't call me at this number does not mean that you can't ever have a conversation with them. And it certainly doesn't mean anything about this, right? What it is. This is what we talk about in cold calls: business problems and valuable solutions. It doesn't mean anything about those two things. It does mean that we need to use another channel. So I would put him into an email only cadence. Now I might customize that first email if I can, right? I might have a cadence that's called not phone leads. In the first email, I say, you say, hey, I just called you right now. It's Pat Flynn from Silver Sky. And then you customize one line in there so that he knows that it's the guy who just called him. And we have a chance for him to read our email, understand why we're reaching out, and there could be an opportunity for him to reply. You never know, but it's tough. We don't know off the top of our head exactly how people are going to respond in the various channels, for sure.
For sure. Well, not the best start for the first phone lead. So, let's get another one on the block.
Let's do it. Let's get back into it. So you were saying, I was asking you a bit about before Silver Sky, were you doing cold calling? What was your experience ahead of it?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. We used HubSpot. We just did single dialing, just kind of like Cal was doing on the last show. Probably make anywhere from 40 to 50 calls a day. But I was in access control system, so I would already kind of know the building layouts. I would kind of know what they're using, and so I a little bit had more ammunition versus straight ice cold calling, pretty much.
Okay, interesting. So you had some information when you called.
Yeah.
But man, wouldn't that be great if we had a list of folks that we knew exactly what they were doing for security before we even made a call about cybersecurity?
That'd been pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Phone is ringing on my end in my ear.
Yep.
So let me ask you while we're dialing here, what do you think about, or I guess question for you, how did you decide to go into sales after getting out of the military? Like why sales? I'm curious.
Yeah, so I played sports growing up all my life. It was very competitive. Had a couple offers. Didn't really want to go to school to continue it. I just want to go straight to military, make some money, go figure, right? And want to serve the country. I want to be a cop, but I was 17, 18, and can't join the police academy until you're 21. So the Army is right up my alley. After I got out, I was like, man, I don't know what I want to do. I know for sure I don't want to do law enforcement anymore. And I was introduced to Kyle pretty much, and at Service Through Software, I went through that program. They placed me in a customer success position, my first tech startup company. That's kind of where I really started falling in love with startups in the tech world. And then my first company, I was introduced to the SDR land. I didn't know anything about sales, not a single bit. And I kind of fell in love with it, fell in love with the grind, the hustle. As hard as you work, that's how much money you make. So at the end of the day, you make, 100+% over quota. I'm getting a pretty good payout.
There you go. I think that's a very interesting point. And sales is one of these jobs that's unlike other jobs in that a lot of people in sales are very money motivated. It's funny, right? Like I talked to my wife because my wife.
Hey, this is Patrick with Silver Sky. How you doing? Yes, this is Patrick with Silver Sky. Deborah, I know I'm catching on a bad time. Do you have a free minute or two for me for a quick chat? Yes, Silver Sky. Silver as in the mineral and sky as in the sky is blue. Oh, if you're in the car, I don't want to interrupt you while you're driving. That doesn't seem very safe. Would it be fair if I give you a call back tomorrow at a better time? Okay, I got you. Well, Deborah, I have you pinned as an IT scheduling manager for Insano. I wasn't sure if cybersecurity was up your wheelhouse or not. Okay, it's not. Oh, alrighty, thank you. And Deborah, before we go, if you was in my position, in my shoes, who would I reach out to at Insano so I can not bark up the wrong tree anymore? I got you. That's pretty good security practice. No worry, I'll do a little bit of research on my own. All right, thank you. Bye.
I
So,
like that. What
wrong
happened?
contact. She was driving. I didn't really want to have a conversation with her. Obviously, I want her full individual focus. She was like, just quickly tell me about it, what you're doing, whatever. Before I even went to my pitch, I just want to make sure she was the right contact. I asked her about if she handles any cybersecurity responsibilities. She said no. I said, cool. Can you point me in the right direction? She said no. All right.
Dang.
And
I hate to see
that's it.
It happens though. It does happen. I think it's a bit of a struggle too because not every company has a cybersecurity title, right? Where someone has that title, so you know to go after that person. So you have to make an outside assumption of, okay, if you're in IT, you probably have something to do with it. But you had a really good talk track around that with her. Also, huge thing that I'm a big fan of that you did right there is you highlighted the number one problem for her. The number one problem for her was that she's driving her car, right? People don't think about that. People just like want to like vomit their pitch and, hey, I'm going to pitch, I'm going to close you, I'm going to get, this is all about me when I want. She's driving her car. She's probably busy multitasking. God forbid she's holding the phone while she's driving. Like, oh my God. Her biggest problem there was that she's talking on the phone while she is driving. So good job calling that out. That can be what I call the false negative, which is the idea of she might tell you she's not interested or might tell you that her business is not interested in what we do, just simply based on the fact that she is busy driving. So you avoided that skillfully, which is really well done.
Thanks, man.
Love it. All right, I'm going to jump back into the queue. I had paused while you were on your conversation there.
I was about to say, man, what's going on? I done had two convos, and I'm waiting on one from you.
Look, it's ringing, man. It's ringing in my ear. I pause when you get a conversation.
Is the garage door open?
Hey, this is Kevin with Silver Sky. How you doing today? Yeah, my name is Kevin. I'm with a company called Silver Sky Technologies. I was actually looking for Ben. What was that? Hello? What? That was bizarre. Hold on. We're gonna do the famous double tap here. Double tap, double tap. Huh. Odd. Okay. Disappeared. That guy disappeared. You were asking, is the garage door open? It finally is. Finally is. San Diego's finally warming up here. We got the coldest, wettest winter ever. Oh, hey. This is Kevin with Silver Sky. How you doing today? Yeah, Omesh, this is Kevin with Silver Sky. Did I catch you at the minute to have a quick conversation? Yeah, I mean, I know I'm reaching out to you out of the blue here. The reason being, we work with businesses very similar to yourself to help them have a proactive cybersecurity posture. Do you have a minute to have a conversation about cybersecurity? All right, cheers. Omesh was in a meeting.
So why do you think people pick up their phones during a meeting?
Ooh, now we are talking about the real questions. Why do people pick up their phone when they don't have time to talk? I think it comes down to innate human curiosity, right? I think the same reason that people pick up the phone when they don't have time to talk is this. It's the same human phenomenon as like 12-year-old girls that post on their like Facebook and Instagram saying, ask me anything. And there's this like like questions tickle a part of the brain that people like, and people like at the most like elemental level, they feel wanted, they feel needed. So when they get a phone call, even if they're busy, they're going to answer it because what if that person has something for them? What if that person wants to ask them questions? And their brain makes them pick up the phone, even though they don't have time to talk. Because what if that person is going to bring you candy or, give you $1,000,000? Or, and then there's the opposite side of that, which is not just a good thing that can happen. If you're like me, right? Like I've got a daughter at daycare right now, a wife who works at a hospital. My parents are, away in a different city. Like there's a lot of things outside of my local area that I care about. And a phone call would be the way that tragic news would be delivered. So I think that plays a lot into it as well, right? Where someone's picking up because genuinely they are worried or excited about what could be on the other end of the line. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I'm 100% behind you on that.
Yeah. But it's tough, right? Like I'm a huge fan of like trying to be very permission based, because if they are busy, like, okay, cool. Adios. I'll see you later. I'll talk to you again tomorrow, because I'm a big fan of structure and process. Having a process to get in front of people reliably. Little strange here, not gonna lie. Shout out everyone if you are listening and watching. Little strange, we have no comments.
I know, man.
No comments. Nobody out there that is enjoying this or tuning in. I can actually see the people are tuning in. Drop a comment here if you are watching, so we know you're there and we can feel a part of you.
I got to show them the dumpling. This is my little stress ball that I use around cold call.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. You might see me.
Don't.
I've been tossing my golf ball here. I like to toss my golf ball around.
Yeah, man. I need to get a stand-up desk super badly. I just been avoiding it. I don't have enough room in my camper, so that's kind of the main reason.
Hey, that's actually an interesting point. Do you have an apartment with your wife, or are you a van life guy?
We do have a little something up in Montana, but mainly we just travel around in our camper. We've been doing this about 2.5 years. So we go to like, her parents' spot for a little bit, my parents' spot for a little bit. Then we just kind of recoup, recharge for a couple months, and then off we go.
So you're a digital nomad, is that fair to say?
That's a very accurate statement.
Love it. Love that. Hey, shout out to Bazit, learning from you. Good. Awesome. Happy to have
Man,
you.
I wouldn't change this life for nothing. It's amazing, especially no kids, no really responsibilities. It's the best. Even with kids, we see a lot of couples with kids, and they just have a blast also.
Having kids on the road constantly, I can imagine would be a bit of a challenge. But hey, if I know anything, and I don't know a lot, my daughter's 2 years old. I'm not an expert or anything, but I know that kids thrive with structure. So you can
Hey, Debbie, this is Patrick with Silver Sky. How you doing? I think I somehow got her back on my this is Debbie from the last call. Let me don't know how she got back in. Interesting.
Huh.
Let me just remove her in general. All right. I don't see any more Debras on my list, so I think we're good on this one.
Love it. Alrighty. I'm back in the queue. Huh. Got a Robo Killer one. Let's see if I get through. Kevin Hopp. Do you ever run into those where it's like this person's using Robo Killer? Now it is ringing through, so let's see if he picks up.
No, I don't. My system sets to any type of voicemails. Gets the axe.
There we go. All right, moving on. Did not pick up after all.
So I
Awesome.
have a question for you, Kevin. Sitting in my seat and you're a consultant. In your own words, what do you think makes a successful sales development representative?
Ooh, that's a really good question. What makes a successful SDR? I think if you want to boil it down to one word, I'd say curiosity. Curiosity is probably the number one trait that allows someone to be good on the phone, good at following up on email, and that lends itself to be a feeding thing. Like if you think about it, like if you're constantly curious, that means that you're going to wake up every day and be like, man, I wonder this, I wonder that, I wonder that. And that's going to drive you to take action. So if you want to boil it down to 2 or 3 words, curiosity, grit. Grit is the idea that I'm going to keep trying to do things. And as I'm trying, I understand that I'm not going to succeed every single time. But the act of trying itself is important, right? And that speaks perfectly to what sales development is. I talk about it as a binary sport, as a binary thing, meaning ones and zeros. Either you're doing activity or you're not. And in sales development, outbound sales development very specifically, let me be clear, because some people have sales development jobs where marketing is just filling their funnel and all they have to do is respond to inbound inquiries, right? Outbound is a different beast, and it's the world that I play in the most. But that grit is the ability to like continuously do things when you're not having success because you know success is coming. So that's a huge part of it. And then I think what makes a really successful SDR is going to be a self-starting attitude. Like, how would I say that?
Taking initiative.
Yeah, initiative is huge. So the 3 words would be curiosity, grit, and initiative, because SDRs at 99% of companies are entry level roles, right? Like, you're a senior SDR, you're not an entry level SDR, but you also perform. You're the top guy, top dog at Silver Sky, right? Not surprisingly, because you're a senior SDR, but most SDRs are entry level, and entry level employees generally will take less initiative because they don't know what to do. Like if you could do any range of all these things, people get kind of decision fatigue and they say, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to do this one thing.
Hey, this is Patrick with Silver Sky. How you doing? I'm well, thank you. I'm trying to reach Bradley Smith. Do you know if they're available today? Oh, that's no issue. Is he just in a meeting or something, or he just doesn't accept phone calls? Okay. Yeah. Well, I have his email at bsmith@firstorion.com. I'm not sure if that was still accurate or not. Perfect. Yeah, I can definitely send him an email. I appreciate you letting me know he doesn't accept phone calls. And I appreciate it. So thank you so much. Bye. So pretty much, there's a gatekeeper. She was like, "What do you want from him?" I said, "I just want to speak to him." She was like, "Nah, he doesn't accept cold calls and stuff like that." So just get info, not a phone lead. Or I'll try to find his mobile number.
Love it. Makes sense. Cool. So let's circle back and finish that point. The point being, most SDRs are going to show up to their job. They're going to be given less resources than they need, and they're going to have to kind of figure out a lot of it. There's a lack of training and development and enablement resources in the SDR world in general. And that comes from executives not understanding what modern outbound is really like, how to maximize these 3 channels and go after it, right? And then there's also going to be people that are given a lot of tech, right? And as you know, Pat, from working with me and me working with Silver Sky, like I am a huge fan of using technology. But what is one of the things that I always say, and I always do this?
You gotta work it. You gotta work the
tools. You gotta work the tools, man. The tools don't work for you. You work for the tools, and you work the tools. So getting to know your tech stack and like actually using it, that's initiative, right? Doing things in your tech stack, learning things, like Googling stuff, doing YouTube videos of like, oh, how do I best use my sales loft, my outreach, my dialer, my Kixie, my whatever. Figuring out the best way to use tools without sitting back and saying, hey, my job's just to do this, right? Really good SDRs have a bit of curiosity, grit, and of course, initiative. And it's funny to me that like I teach people how to be a good SDR, and I do SDR consulting. I was only an SDR for 6 months. I wasn't even like, it's not like I was a career SDR and I was an SDR for like 2 years or a year and a half. Like I was an SDR for 6 months because I blew my quota out of the water and I was so good at it that I got promoted right away. And then people ask me like, okay, so why are you in SDR consulting? Because I moved up. I went from account executive to senior account executive and moved organizations. And everywhere I went, I had the same problem. Outbound, pipeline. You know, you get this like big salary and a nice title as a senior account executive. And then I didn't have any leads. I didn't have any pipeline. And I had to go do the same things that I was doing as an SDR. And that's when I just got obsessed with that problem. I saw a problem. I said, I'm going to go figure out the best way to fix it and then take that to the world. And that's what Hopp Consulting Group is. And that's what I do today.
That's cool, man. I appreciate that.
Totally. I'm trying to get a conversation over here too, by the way. Hit and go.
Yeah, I think when I think last week with Kyle, I said my 3 C's to a successful SDR is creativity. You gotta be able to A/B split test everything you do, whether it's campaign emails, talk tracks. Just gotta be creative, find different approaches to reach whoever you need to talk to. Second one is communication. You gotta have active listening. You gotta be able to collaborate with account managers, AEs, anybody across the organization. And then the third one would be just consistency. You gotta show up every single day, doing the same thing. You gotta push yourself every single day, and really no off days. The less you work, the more someone's trying to catch up with you and take over your spot.
Big fan. 3 C's. I love that, dude. 1, 2, 3. I mean, not wrong on any of these. Absolutely, all 3 of these things are elemental for being good at sales development. It's interesting. The binary nature of outbound plays into every piece of this, right? Like creativity, but you got to be taking action to be creative. And communication is the idea of not just sitting quietly, idly by and operating on your own, and consistency. Man, it's like brushing your teeth. You got to do it every day. You don't get credit for brushing your teeth if you do it once a week, right? Very important point. Where did my dog go? I wonder if my dog walked outside of my garage. I don't think he did. He did not. That's good. Wow, my list is going cold over here. This is frustrating.
What region are you calling into?
I believe this list. Hello? Oh. Kevin. Oh. Interesting. That was the Google thing saying, what is this call regarding? And then when I said my name, it said, they can't take the call right now, and hung up on me.
Well, hold on. Someone picked up as soon as I disconnected, so let me give him a little double tap real quick.
Ooh, double tap, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Double tap.
Hello, can you hear me? Hey, Troy, how you doing? This is Patrick from Silver Sky. All right, you just hung up on me. So I'm not going to double tap him since I just rung him twice. That would be a little bit overkill. So I'll keep him cadence. I'll give him a call back tomorrow.
That's right. Keep in cadence. It's actually my favorite disposition because it keeps us in front of people. It's the piece that if you're not using technology and process, you miss out on the most.
See, it's my least favorite cadence because I'd rather just get a yes or a no right off the rip. That way I can just take you off the call list.
It would be nice if people could just answer their phones. We didn't have to hit them again and again. That would be so nice. Voicemails here. That's annoying. Got another comment here. Like Pat's question: why do people pick up at a meeting? It's a good question, Ronan. We talked a bit about that. It's interesting. When did you make that comment? 10:31, just now. What if there's a delay? Might be, because we talked about that like 15 minutes ago. Either way. Andrew, how are you? I'm all right. My name's Kevin. I'm actually calling with a company called Silver Sky. You probably never heard of us. Did I catch you with a minute to have a conversation? Or are you busy? What Zoom thing in particular? Did you already talk to somebody at Silver Sky, or? Oh, you're not. Oh, is this Andrew Peterson? No. Oh, probably got the wrong Andrew Peterson. All right. Well, I will take you off my list. Sorry about that. Cheers. Awesome.
Okay, wrong Andrew, huh?
Yeah. He was like, "Is this about that Zoom thing?" I am not in IT. I'm like, well, you're not in IT. Hey, this is Kevin with Silver Sky. How you doing today? Yeah, I'm with a company called Silver Sky. Chris, it sounds like I caught you on the road here. Are you driving? Dang. Well, I mean, are you hands free? Do you have a minute to have a quick conversation here, or are you busy heads down on something else? Yeah, I mean, sales call, cold call, conversation call, trying to connect with someone I don't know. Yeah, we don't know each other yet. That is true. Oh yeah, absolutely. Do you have a better number so we can have a conversation? Oh, hung up on me. This number is only for emergencies, he said.
What constitutes as an emergency in Israel? Would it be a cyber incident?
Actually, he is a manager of cybersecurity. That was a good title. He was driving though, and a little reluctant. How often do you get that? The don't call my my cell phone number one?
Dude, first call of the day. It was right off the rip. But historically, I probably get it maybe once a day. I'm like, why are you calling my mobile? And I say the same thing. What's a better number to call you at?
Yeah.
You don't want to chat then? Okay, then that's cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the further we get away from COVID, the more it's going to be a thing. Because during COVID, I found that I got way less people that mentioned it because their cell phone was just their phone. You know, like it wasn't a big deal.
Do people still have house phones? Is that still a thing?
No.
Like, do people just have landlines? And I'm gonna try to Google some of those, see if that works.
So I used to work at Vonage, right? So Vonage is for a period of time, they were the number one home telephone provider in the United States. And they would talk about how steadily the home phone business was declining. It was absolutely declining. But what was interesting was it was a really good thing for them because even though it was steadily declining, it was very consistent revenue for Vonage. So it was like you have to do very little to keep that revenue, and you know it's going down at a very predictable pace. So it's kind of like funding to fund the business part of the business, and that's what I sold to businesses. I was trying to sell business phone systems. So yeah, but I mean, no one has a home phone besides maybe like a grandma or something, But like,
they might be able to help a brother out. They might be able to point me in the right direction. Oh, I'm calling someone in YouTube from the YouTube industry.
YouTuber.
Hey, Eric, this is Patrick with Silver Sky. How you doing? Uh, this automated voicemail. Let's get me straight to it. Ain't that something?
Yeah, I don't know if people who make their voicemails to sound like they pick up the phone, like do they think that's funny or cute or something? Like it's terrible.
It is the worst. I have a comment, but I should not say it. Let me just refrain.
Yeah,
Squeeze
we
my
are.
little dumpling.
Yeah, squeeze your dumpling, right? Yeah, while we're live on the internet, probably best not to say those things. So, talk to me a bit about. This is a cold calling show. We are ripping calls right now. Have you been successful on other channels with any like regularity? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I've been pretty successful with email campaigning. Actually, just got a email right before the show asking for some time, so it's been pretty good. I've been again A/B split testing different messagings. Been finding that shorter the wording, the more direct, the better. I had a little bit of success on LinkedIn. I think on LinkedIn, just not really me selling anything, just mainly just trying to have a conversation. I want to view myself as more of a consultant versus a salesperson because at the end of the day, everybody doesn't need our product, and that's cool. I think just having those conversations around how can I actually help you in your organization, and I think that's been what's been working best for me.
Wow. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Um, it's interesting you mentioned split testing there on emails. What part of the emails do you split test?
The subject lines, how long the messaging is, the verbiage of the messaging, whether I should be using more acronyms, less acronyms. Uh, just hey, this is Patrick with Silver Sky. How you doing? This is Patrick with Silver Sky. Am I speaking with Rachel? All right. I don't know if that was Rachel or not, but she hung up on me. It doesn't even look like it's the best contact either, so that's weird.
Dang. I think someone picked up right when yours picked up, so I'm going to go ahead and redial. Good old double tap. Let's go. Aw, straight to voicemail. Come on. You got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me.
But no, man, I just try to test a bunch of different messaging, and you can definitely tell when you get a salesy email. So
Hey, this is Kevin with Silver Sky. How you doing today? Fantastic. Dominic, I know I'm calling you out of the blue here. Did I catch you at the minute to have a quick conversation, or are you heads down something else? Not a good time to talk. Yeah, I will do that. I'll put it in my calendar to give you a call then. Have a great rest of your day. Huh. Cool. He said, "Yeah, I am super busy. I can't chat right now, but call me back later today." Sweet. you know, I'm fine with
so,
that.
so there are two approaches to that. I think a lot of people would be like, "Hey, just so I can not waste you and I time. Are you involved in cybersecurity?" Would that be an approach you would recommend, or just pretty much what the prospect says? Hey, I will give you a call back later.
So for him, he had a very quick tone to his voice. Like I wish we could share the audio here. Like if you could hear how quickly he was like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm really busy right now. I can't talk, but call me back." And that tone told me that he was, number one, probably actually busy, and number two, that he genuinely was open to hearing me out. Like he had a nice tone to his voice. So I didn't want to push it. I didn't want to like try and make it about me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's like one of the toughest things is like, and the thing that I always tell people is, cold calling is difficult because it's done on your time, right? Like if you think about it, like cold email, you send someone an email, they can look at it when they're with their family, they can look at it in their morning, in the evening, they can look at it on the weekend. But cold calling is like right now. Like right now, I want to talk about this, and that is like one of the hardest parts of it. Oh, hey, this is Kevin with Silver Sky. Travis, how you doing today? Hey, I know I'm catching you out of the blue here. I'm an interruption. Do you have a minute to have a quick conversation about cybersecurity? Oh shoot. Okay, I had you down as being involved in like strategic IT stuff. Is that's probably not involving cybersecurity at all? Okay, so if you were me and you're just a dog barking up trees here, what tree would I have to bark up to find someone that is involved in cybersecurity? Do you have a name of someone I should reach out to? Ah, fantastic, Travis. You have a great rest of your day. Dang, not in cybersecurity, and he said straight up, "I will not give someone else's name." Ooh, shout out to Sean Hurd. How we doing, Sean? Good to see
What's
you.
up, Sean? Am I killing it? Depends on who you're asking.
It's a good question. Are we killing it? We should set a meeting, man. Are you ripping your
Should.
dials? I got dials going in my ear right now. I think I've made 82 dials. Fun fact.
I'm at like 60 something.
Love it.
So, kind of going back to, making cold calls on your own time. Is there a good time to make cold calls? Some people are like, oh, don't do Monday mornings. Oh, don't do Wednesday evenings.
That's a good question. Very good question. Hey, this is Kevin with Silver Sky. How you doing today? Fantastic. Wyman, I know I'm calling you out of the blue here. Did I catch you with a minute to have a quick conversation, or are you heads down on something else? Can't talk. All right, cheers. Boom. Said he was busy and bounced. Pat, that's a great question. It's about as big of a question as I get asked, right? People always ask, like, hey, you make a lot of calls, you work with teams that make calls. When is the best time to cold call? Now, people love to say they know when the best time to cold call is, because if you say that there's a good time to cold call, that means that you're saying there's a bad time to cold call. In cold calling, if we're going to list things that are difficult and things that are the biggest lift from an ego standpoint, the hardest things for us to do, like cold calling is probably the number one thing that a salesperson should be doing more of, is going to be reluctant to do, and is most likely to skip, right? So I don't like saying that there is a time that you should be cold calling, because that means there's a time you shouldn't be cold calling. And I don't like if you think about what I'm doing, I'm trying to bring cold calling culture into organizations to build people who are very confident on the phone. Step one is don't tell them and never call Tuesday afternoons. No, call all the time, right? Call early, call often, call late. Don't call after business hours. That's like the one thing that I disagree with a lot of consultants and trainers out there. Some of them will say, yeah, like I always rip dials, from 5:30 to 6 Eastern, and I catch people on their ride home. I don't like talking to people about business on off business hours. Why? Because I don't like it.
Hey, Kayla, this is Patrick. How you doing? I'm well, thank you. I'm trying to reach extension 2240. Alrighty, thank you. Gatekeeper answered and then went to his voicemail.
Dang. Okay. Let's highlight what Sean said here real quick. Don't call on holidays. I'm not a huge fan of calling on holidays. Calling on the holidays that are not bank holidays is an interesting tactic. I think we did some of that at Silver Sky the other day on President's Day, and I don't know, was there moderate success? I think there were still conversations had.
But yeah, onesies and twosies, but man, people are just trying to live their day. They're not trying to take a cold call right now. Some people be like, yeah, they're bored. They'll love to talk on a phone, but to me, 80% of the time, they're just trying to get through the day, man. They want to go home to their families.
For sure. That makes sense. So yeah, the long story short on this is there is no best time to cold call. There's only good times to cold call, and the good time to cold call is any time during business hours.
For me, I've been finding just calling first thing in the morning, just getting that bad part out the day, just kind of just sets the tone, man. If I get the worst part of my day out the way first, everything else is smooth sailing.
Right.
I'm ripping some more.
Ripping some more. Got a few minutes left here. Man, it'd be good to get a meeting, wouldn't it?
Hey, this is Patrick with Silver Sky. How you doing? Patrick with Silver Sky. Am I speaking with Samuel? Okay. When would be a better time for me to follow back? Okay. No, she said, I don't know if I was giving Samuel or not. Possibly. She just said it's not a good time and hung up.
Yeah. Brutal.
It's all good. It sounded like she was having like a little holiday party in the back or something.
Huh. St. Patrick's Day is not for a few more weeks.
That's true.
Hey, this is Kevin with Silver Sky. How you doing today? Hello? What? All right, double tap. We're getting there. We're getting back on the line. Wow, straight to voicemail when I called her back. Bummer.
I paused my calls and someone answers. I hung up. So let me double tap this.
Double tap, baby. Big fan of the double tap.
Now I'm with the voicemail.
All right. Oh.
Man, it's been kind of brutal.
Yeah,
right. Folks, but
low connects today. I don't know what it is about Tuesday, March 7th, but it's a bit brutal on the phones. Hey, this is Kevin with Silver Sky. How you doing today? Fantastic. I know I'm a bit of an interruption here. Did I catch you with a minute to have a quick conversation? I can hear. I think you're driving. Okay. Are you hands free? Do you have a minute to chat real quick or? Oh, nice, fantastic. I'm with an organization called Silver Sky. We help businesses, not unlike Innovex, create a proactive cybersecurity. What's that? Oh, really? Right on. Are you in a new role in IT at a different organization? Okay. I mean, in that vein, we do have a pretty strong partner channel relationship program. Is that so? You never refer cybersecurity vendors in? Okay. Okay. Awesome. All right, Michael. Have a great rest of your day. Shoot. All right. Well, Michael no longer at that job, and he said he's a consultant. So I said, hey, we have a partner channel, and he said, not interested in hearing about it or learning about it. So there you go. Missing out on an easy opportunity to get some wins, referring Silver Sky business.
I'm telling you, man. Just get the money.
Hey, this is Kevin with Silver Sky. How you doing today? I'm with an organization called Silver Sky. Max, I know I'm a bit of an interruption here. Did I catch you with a minute to have a quick conversation? All right, reach out another day. Bye-bye. Dude, something about the permission-based opener today. Everyone's taking the out. That's bizarre. I haven't had this many. I've had like, what, 7 connections, and no one's taken the actual pitch?
Same. Mike, what's up, man? How you doing? Mike Palazzi is one of the best business guys I've ever had the pleasure of working with. So we need to get him on the show one day. Hey, this is Patrick with Silver Sky. How you doing? With Silver Sky, Bo, I know I'm calling out the blue. Am I catch you on a bad time? I was wondering if you can help me out. Cool, man. Well, I have you pinned as a system administrator for Duvel. I wasn't sure if cybersecurity was kind of up your wheelhouse or not. Oh, you have just a network administrator that handles everything? Oh, okay, that's perfect. So the network administrator does everything. And so obviously it's only one person. How is that being monitored 24/7? Oh, he has some outsourcing his cyber already, kind of. Okay, and what would be the best method just to get in touch with him? Because I can definitely feel we can add some value to his life and to y'all's life as well. Yeah. Okay. And what is their name? That way I can at least have a name to reference. I promise I won't spill your name. I'll just keep it a little secret between us. Perfect. Well, I'll definitely reach out to Ryan. Well, I appreciate your time, Bo. And, I hope you have a happy Tuesday. Thanks, man. Have a good one. Bye. So he's just a warehouse employee. I think he just does the networks. So I asked, well, who actually does the cybersecurity? And he told me the name. He told me kind of how the outsourcing it. So I have some ammunition kind of going to this next call.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Nice. Always good to know. Always good to know. Oh, I'm jumping into the queue here. Over 100 calls today on my end. 100 calls. Can you imagine if we were dialing these one by one? Like how painful that experience would be? I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I'm at 82 dials.
Oh man, it is brutal out here. So, Pat, why don't we we have a few minutes left here. One of the things I want to learn from you, what are some things that if there's a veteran watching this, they want to get into sales, what's something that they should know about getting into sales?
Yeah, it's a different ball game. It is a cutthroat world out here. It is, it's different coming from a military culture of teamwork, collaboration. It's different. It's you have a number, you own it. If you're not performing, they're not afraid to let you go. It's pretty much as simple as that. It's it's great when it's great, but it's bad when it's bad. I mean, there's really no in between. It's especially in today's volatile market, you never know, what's the next day is going to happen. But I think veterans going to sales is one of the best moves for veterans. It's we always have this competitive edge. We always have this fire and desire to be the best. So it's a great career. I encourage every veteran to at least check it out and try it. Utilize your resources, utilize your battle buddies, and just
Oh, little shout out Sean Hurd saying, "Call me."
yeah,
Look
Sean's an
at that.
excellent resource.
Look at that picture of Sean. That makes me want to call him. He looks very warm, friendly, like a guy who just wants to talk to people, doesn't he?
He does, man. I like it. I like the shirt.
See, we know Sean, and we know Sean was on Hop on Calls. He was a fantastic guest. He just has a picture that makes him look so right. He looks like he's wearing his Green Beret uniform, all serious. Where in reality, we know he's not. He's a little kitty cat. Very nice guy. But for real, if you're a veteran thinking about getting into sales, to your point, Pat, when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad. Like some would argue right now, it's bad because so many layoffs in tech. But tech is just we're the canary in the coal mine for the economy. I do believe, right? Meaning all the industry predictions about there's gonna be a giant recession this year. I think there will be more of a recession, but I think the canary in the coal mine thing is that we're feeling the worst of it right now. I would argue the worst amount of layoffs. I don't see it getting really worse as we head later into the year. I think when the consumer economy and the B2C businesses start to really take a hit, will be probably later in the year. But it's never a bad time to get into tech because you can make your own way, right? Performance is the number one thing in sales. Unlike other jobs where performance is important, but also it's really important to get a task list done every day, right? There might be different ways of looking at it. In sales, if you have these natural things, the 3 C's that you mentioned and some of the ones I mentioned as well around curiosity, if you apply that to sales activities, you're going to get results, and results are what moves the needle. And the best part about sales, dude, like when I was an intern at a tech company, I was also, just like you, started in customer success. And then I asked, I had no idea. I was just graduating college. I said, hey, so the salespeople, they have a salary like us, right? And the customer success guy said, yeah, but they get commission. And I said, wait, I only get salary. It's like, yeah, they get salary and commission. So they can make up to twice as much as their salary in commission. Like they get 100% more. And that's the day I was like, okay, I'm getting into sales. I'm getting into sales. You're telling me that I can make as much money as I want instead of making, showing up every single day knowing exactly what I'm going to make, which is, very comforting for a lot of people. But for folks like I think you and I, Pat, the excitement of the possibility and of the unknown is exactly why I'm in sales. Hey, man, we've reached our time for the day. I really appreciate you coming on here. How can people connect with you or follow you or whatnot, Pat?
Yeah, so we have an IG. My wife and I, we travel in our camper. We go to a bunch of cool different states and different parks. Flynn Fam _. We also have a YouTube channel where we vlog it. Not so much, not cheesy. It's a day in our lives, pretty much. Cool music, cool folks, and that's really about it. And connect with me on LinkedIn.
Love it. Well, Pat, thanks so much for coming on, man. Let's stay in touch. And for everyone else out there, stay tuned for another edition of Hop on Calls next Tuesday. Bringing on a special guest there, finalizing that. Look out for the event invite. Everybody have a great day.
Cool. Thanks, Kevin, for having me.